My name is Dino, and this video is called Communication 2.0. It's basically a video that's going to talk about some of the developments in my course, Corporate Communication, and the old version would be 1.0, presumably. I'll start off this video with a brief introduction. The course I'll be looking at revamping, revising, updating along a number of different indices is called CM333. It's Corporate Communication. It's the Communication and Media program at CUNY-SBS. It deals with a number of issues like crisis communications, public relations, branding, etc., etc. So the inspiration for these changes, I want to address my ongoing student learning needs, as well as those that have been newly learned through my recent Open for All workshop. So thanks to those fine people. Also, part of the inspiration is to recognize personal teaching and learning needs. So part of this inventory in terms of how I've conceived parts of this course is to think about my own personal teaching and where that's been good and where it's been not so good, as well as my needs as a student. Because I think excavating your own present and past experiences is always really valuable. And then ultimately, my biggest inspiration is to improve the learning experience for current and prospective students based on these past experiences. So I'm going to go over a number of different areas. The first one's about representation. It's for those of you who may not know this concept, it's just a general point to describe it is to help students see themselves. One of the challenges, quite broadly, even beyond this course, is that corporations, the corporate world, and academia as a whole can be quite unrepresentative, and this course is included in that. And by making representation, some of the benefits that you can have are that students can see themselves and the challenges that they face represented in class, and I'll go into that through the implementation, so I'll get into that a bit more. Also, I want to help them expand their conception of academic and work life and see themselves in academics, see themselves in corporate professional life, and to expand what they think of as being part of that. So the implementation, I've recorded a video, but also it's a written text for a getting to know you activity that I've also recorded the audio, but I provide it through video because it's the easiest way to share it. So basically it's an adversity tale. So I have a number of graduate degrees, and so what I talk about is my own adversity getting to that point. I found a couple of years ago a student was saying that they looked at my bio, and like many of us who work in post-secondary and who have been working for a while, it seems very ambitious and maybe beyond them. And so when we've accumulated a number of degrees, a number of professional experiences, again, it can seem beyond many students. So by talking about some of the adversities that I've faced in academia specifically, I'm trying to help students to see themselves and going, oh, the challenges they have now can be overcome, and other people had these things, and that would hopefully make them feel represented. This is just a quick a screenshot of the audio track for the adversity tale. Again, it goes into an academic challenge that I had in my second year of undergrad, which was at the time the most difficult a challenge I presented myself. I did quite poorly in school for my second year. The second one is inclusion and accessibility. And again, for those of you who may not know about these terms, one of the phrases I liked hearing in our materials for our Open for All workshop was the idea of removing walls of exclusion. So that was kind of what was driving my thoughts towards this concept. Again, I like to sort of expand my scope quite broadly when I can, because I think it helps me think like more about society and my small role in it. There is limited inclusion and accessibility in both corporate and oftentimes academic environments. Just for someone like myself who came from a small town, a lot of people had post-secondary attainment, but not as many as you'd think. We didn't have a university in town. We did have a small community college. So for people like myself, my father was a small business owner, the wider corporate world and the prestigious academic environment of a post-secondary institution could be feel very exclusive and very inaccessible in the broadest sense of both of those terms. So some of the benefits I've wanted to address are to add renewable assignments. Those are assessments that matter outside of academia. So the ones that are not just purely for academics, but can help students for their lives beyond school. As well as I'd like to have as a benefit to address unique student needs. For example, I think a lot about ESL students in my classes. And then finally, to improve course-wide inclusion. So the implementation for that is something I've been working on just recently over the course of the Open for All workshop, is to start doing a number of text-light infographics. So basically these would share some concepts we discuss in class, but they're in a more text-light manner, and they're a bit more visual engaging than just pure text. And then as well, something I'm continuing to work on is to have a practical final project to bridge the post-CUNY gap. In this course presently, it's a very theoretical final project, so I'm trying to have something that can help them as they move beyond CUNY. These are just a couple of screenshots of a couple of infographics. One's on 4 types of corporate social responsibility. The other one is some tips on how to manage groups. So those, again, hopefully will make those concepts, corporate social responsibility and managing groups, you can easily find very text-heavy concepts that are shared in textual form, but this is something that's sharing those concepts and content in a different way. And then finally, for student voice and choice, the goal for that is to promote engagement and autonomy. It's something I thought a lot about I like being autonomous as a human being, and I like people to give me those spaces. So I'm hoping to do that here in this class and other ones as well. Again, broadening out the scope, there's very limited voice and choice in corporations and academics. Corporations are renowned, especially multinational corporations, for being very top down, and it's basically there are guidelines for how you behave, et cetera, and how you kind of conduct your business in the corporate world. Also, in terms of academics, again, traditional academics is here's a syllabus, here's a reading list, go at it, write an essay, very, very standard. And the amount of voice and choice that you have can be very limited. So the benefits, I want to expand voice and choice to increase interest, which I'm sure all of my colleagues that are doing this important work are also trying to do. So the implementation is something that I have been doing in corporate communication, which I've liked, is to provide cross-course assignment choices. So it's not just one fixed assignment for everyone. I've been giving people throughout the course, normally there's a choice of 2 for every major assignment we have. And then also, as I kind of implied for the previous about inclusion and accessibility, is to provide students a final project to let them have a couple of different choices. Right now, there's a theoretical written paper. Now I'm going to be trying to do more of a practical project that again bridges post-CUNY life, so that students can, when they leave our warm welcoming halls, they can use that to sort of help bridge their gap and be able to be a part of corporate environments in a more easily doable way. So finally, my conclusion. Corporate communications is a course that is ripe for improved representation, inclusion, and accessibility, and student voice and choice. The things that I've talked about are, again, very small starts to try to achieve those 3 metrics, and I'm hoping that the lessons I learned in this class help me continue this over the summer and into future iterations of this course. Also, I think I've achieved actionable items. The different things I've shared are varied improvements that can help achieve the broader goals of representation, inclusion, and accessibility, as well as student voice and choice. And finally, the time frame. I like to think about this for my classes. Ideally, our classes are not just a specific set of 15-week periods of time. Ideally, we have thoughts and ideas that cascade beyond that. So hopefully along that line, Hopefully the improvement that I'm trying to do in this course along representation, inclusion, and accessibility, and student voice and choice, hopefully that's going to be an ongoing, but as you'd imagine, an elusive goal because it's never fully achieved. That is Corporate Communication 2.0. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please feel free to write them in the metadata below. Thanks for watching.